But if you're a fan of racing, if you're a fan of, I guess, what direction the sport's going, um, I do like it. And I mean, me not being a Toyota fan either, it is frustrating when, like, oh man, it's a good race, but it's between Kyle Busch and Carl Edwards. I think that was going back at um, what race was that? That wasn't Phoenix. Phoenix was one. That was a close race between Harvick and Carl Edwards. I can't think offhand. Richmond. Richmond was the race that was, between those two guys, and it was like, man, it's a good battle. But I'm not on the edge of my seat because I don't care which driver wins because I hate them both. Probably Carl Edwards would edge up maybe just a. I don't know. I don't even know. I do hate Carl Edwards that bad. But anyway, you have two Toyotas out there, and you can't get into it. But then you get in the race last week where you had the Toyota versus Chevy battle. Again, kind of going back to what happened at Phoenix. You did have Tony Stewart breaking through into victory lane. And again, I think that added that parity that NASCAR needed. And saying, well, Tony Stewart, that wouldn't have been a parity move, I guess, 3-4 years ago. But obviously he hasn't won since 2013. And really, kind of almost Tiger Woods-esque, since some of his injuries and, of course, the Kevin Ward incident. He's just kind of fallen off the map. And these past few weeks, it seemed like Tony Stewart was starting to gain a little bit momentum towards running halfway decent. And I think at Pocono he ran pretty well. Michigan, a few weeks ago he ran up front in the top 10 all day. I think or top 5 all day. I think he still managed with a top 10 in that race. And Sonoma, he was competitive. He had some bad luck, and he made his own luck with a pit strategy, not taking any tires, making some adjustments, and holding off Denny Hamlin. Kind of, if you watch that final lap, kind of got hard to explain what happened there, but a thrilling finish. It was probably the first time in a long time, probably the first time since the 2014. Daytona 500 that I got out of my chair screaming at the TV going, oh my God, for me as a fan, not saying that was the last good race, obviously, but last time I really got into it, and it was exciting. It was cool to see. It was cool to see Stewart win and how pumped up he was, and you could see a lot of his competitors, Greg Biffle, Denny Hamlin, who was on the reciprocating end of that battle. He congratulated him after the race. It was pretty cool to see, and a little bit of a redemption story for Tony Stewart. And we can talk about how dumb it is that he's making the chase, which you probably won't hear as much gripe as when Kyle Busch did it last year, but one, he is the second person to do it now, so it's not going to create that much buzz. But also Tony Stewart, I think, is a little bit more received, especially at this point of his career, than Kyle Busch is. But he still has some great sound bites, though. I encourage you to Google the post-race interviews of Tony Stewart after Sonoma. It was pretty good, pretty funny. So, with that being said, you do have a little bit of the parity coming. Now maybe we'll see a little bit more in the second half of the year. I'm hoping NBC, Toyota's not in the back pocket. That will be shoved down our throats a little bit less. So I think, I know my dad said he was done, and it was because of the Toyotas that were dominating. Although he said he's going to watch IndyCar. And obviously Chevy's dominating there, but you do have Hondas that could potentially win too. So I don't know. But I think Toyota's stuff, they're going to be a big presence, and you kind of got to accept that because they're throwing a lot of money into the sport. They're paying big money to be there. So you're going to still see a lot of Toyota stuff at the racetrack, billboards and stuff like that. Toyota had the rights to the new NASCAR game or video game cover. They're paying big money to do that. But I don't think they're in the back pockets of NBC as much as they were Fox. So I think we can can take a sigh of relief for that. Um, Especially the diehard NASCAR fans. I think it's going to be nice. But hell, we even had a good finish last night. Had a Ford in victory lane. Ford versus Chevy, the classic battle in the Xfinity race between Justin Allgaier in the Junior Motorsports car and Eric Almirola, who's running kind of a lower budget part-time team, and it was kind of cool to see him back in victory lane. Kind of reliving his Daytona glory days back in 2014 when he won the Coke Zero 400. So that might give him some benefit, or give him some confidence boosters going into tonight's race, which be looking forward to there. Dale Jr. looking for a little bit of restrictor plate redemption. After sometimes not running as well as he did last year when he was by far the fastest car. In the restrictor plate races, in all 4 of them last year. It's maybe been pretty fast, but maybe the handling wasn't there. Maybe struggling with this new package here a little bit. He's hoping that the no-name car, he's not running Amelia anymore after he totally demolished that. I think Amelia is now a piece in his junkyard or race car graveyard. So there's that. So we'll see if Dale Jr. can get a little bit of restrictor plate redemption. Greg Biffle being on the pole. Jack Roush, I think he has, again, Greg Biffle with him on the pole, and you have his other driver, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. starting third. They're fast in qualifying. So can that relate back to the race? We've been talking about Jack Roush being on the verge of maybe winning a race or two. They're running a lot better. Maybe not always finishing better, but they're running a lot better. And maybe this is the week that it gets their redemption story written. Greg Biffle, another guy, maybe didn't have the crazy story that Tony Stewart had, with his 3-year winless drought. But Greg Biffle hasn't won since, I think, Michigan back in 2013. So he's on a little bit of a drought himself. So a little bit. And some of those other 2 guys in the Roush stable, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., who is yet to get a win in his Cup career, and he can maybe put a notch in his belt over Danica if he can win tonight. And Trevor Bayne, who hasn't won since the 2011 Daytona 500, and really almost seems like he's making his career on that one win, and probably basically is, but kind of proving that maybe he does belong in the Cup Series level, and he's running halfway competitive, I would say. I think he's in the top 20. And with Jack Roush's struggles as of late too, if they start picking it up, maybe it's something that we'll see a little bit more of. But with that, I think I'm going to wrap up this week's program here. Again, we'll hopefully start having Rudy on more once we get all that ironed away with getting Rudy on the program through this new Spreaker studio. So for those of you who followed Sports Talk 920, thank you all for listening. And if you're new to Sports Talk 920, because we're on the Spreaker website now, we've moved from Blog Talk Radio. Welcome here to Sports Talk 920. We're here not to be the experts. We're here to more or less be you guys, or not you guys, us, it's who we are, sports fans. Kind of basement talk, if you're at a bar, talking to a buddy, just rambling on about sports. Some of it doesn't even have to make sense. We're not here to be, we'll talk like it sometimes, but that's what you do at a bar. You talk like you know it all, and sometimes if you just come up with crazy ideas, it would be cool to see blah 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 happen or whatever. We talk. It says in the description, I guess. We're just a basement style show with you and your buddies, and that's kind of what the show is. That's what the show's all about. But with that, I'd like to thank you guys for listening here on Spreaker. You can follow us all week long, and we're on Twitter at ST920 at twitter.com, and also on Facebook at facebook.com backslash ST920. And of course, on our blog, we do have the Sports Talk 920 NASCAR Pick'em matchups that will be up soon. I think Anna's the only one that our points leader is yet to pick. We'll get her pick, and then we'll get those picks up and going. But you can check out the standings too on our blog at sportstalk920.blogspot.com. And of course, I encourage you too. If you're not listening to us on Spreaker, you can follow us also on YouTube. Just look up the name Sports Talk 920. These episodes will be posted to YouTube, so that's kind of a cool new feature too. So check us out there. And with that, thank you guys, and see you all next week for an all new episode of Sports Talk 920. Good day now.